Chapter 1 A Conversation Between the Past and the Future. Taisha, your brain was originally capable of instantly knowing all the answers and solving every problem, just like how you instinctively respond in a ping-pong match. You already possess the most powerful computer on Earth, but this computer has been infected by layer upon layer of viruses. As a result, you're only able to do basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division on your own computer, slowly analyzing and making logical deductions for every problem, and most of the answers you come up with are wrong. So, how exactly you can clean out the viruses in your brain and restore its true function? 1-1 The Origin of Taisha. Taisha, Jim, this conversation will serve as a corresponding session of the Taisha dialogues, which come before the main text of the Taisha Book. The main text of the Taisha Book is written in outlines and conceptual language, which isn't very easy for readers to understand. That's why we're using this dialogue format to explain and clarify the ideas from the main text. For someone just starting out, I recommend reading the Taisha dialogues first, then reading the corresponding chapters in the main text of the Taisha Book, and finally doing the Taisha exercises. The Taisha Book of Magic is just a summary and reference for kinds of magic this book touches on. It's meant for deeper practice later on. Without first completing the foundation laid out in the main text and dialogues, the Taisha Book of Magic will seem completely incomprehensible to you, like a true cryptic, celestial book. The goal of the Taisha Book is to transcend time, clear the viruses from your brain, and restore your original abilities of creation and miracles, and to solve every single problem in your life, whether it's related to studying, exams, career, life, or family, or even problems of nations, humanity, Earth, or the entire universe. They will all be resolved within this book. In the end, you will discover the inner guidance of Taisha, and by walking the path of Taisha, you will find your true world. I, Taisha, as the teacher of the Taisha Book, will teach and demonstrate how to connect with the guidance of Taisha, and how to use the way of thinking and living known as Taisha to solve all kinds of real-life problems. Jim, it's really great to be talking with you again. Ever since we wrapped up that additional conversation at the end of February for the second edition of Taisha 10-Day Talks, and you mentioned there would be a whole new series of conversations, I've been looking forward to starting them. And this really is a topic I care deeply about, how to solve problems and achieve success. Still, when you say solve every problem, that's quite a bold claim. Do you really believe in something like ultimate truth or miracles? It's not that I don't believe at all, but if you want to fully buy in, it's probably going to take more than the 10-day talks. So what's the relationship between the Taisha Book and the 10-day talks? Is it a sequel, a summary of the philosophy? Taisha, you and I previously worked together on the Taisha 10-day talks, and you can think of the Taisha Book as an expansion of that into a much broader field. It's not just about studying abroad. All problems at their core are the same. There is no difference. If you can solve the problem of studying abroad, you can absolutely solve every problem in life. Of course, while the core method remains the same, the focus and approach shift depending on the issue. That's why the Taisha Book is structured as a direct guide to solving all problems. You can certainly skip the 10-day talks and go straight to the Taisha Book. If you can solve everything else, studying abroad will be easy for you. Like the preface of the 10-day talk says that was a fairy tale about the world of studying abroad. It really was just an introductory story for this book. And this book, right now, marks the beginning of the true journey into miracles. As though the 10-day talks fully resolved the studying abroad issue, it left behind a bigger question at the end. How do you find your own world? Jim, have you really found that world yet? No, not truly. You've only found a world, one version of it. It's a world you love, one you devote yourself to, where you grow and evolve. You might find multiple such worlds, but none of them are your real world. They are just projections of your true world. In one of the appendix conversations of the 10-day talks, we started laying the groundwork for this new series. We touched on key points. People aren't as rational or clear-headed as they think they are. On the contrary, everyone's brain is surrounded by rigid habits of thought and psychological biases. We call these fixed patterns mental viruses. In that talk, we explained that these mental viruses are the source of all struggle, pain, setbacks, and contradiction. But we didn't explain how to identify and clear them at their roots. This book, the Taisha Book, will take on those seemingly impossible tasks. To clear your mind of those viruses, help you truly find your world, and in doing so, help you truly find yourself. That world has a specific name, the world of Taisha. And the path that leads to it is called the path of Taisha. Jim, this path of Taisha you mentioned, is it some kind of advanced course or something like that? Could you give me an outline or a roadmap so I know roughly what I'll be learning? Taisha. The path of Taisha consists of 3 stages, and each step will reveal a different landscape. The first 3 conversations in this book lay the foundation of the path, addressing the 3 main elements of mental viruses: time, separation, and choice. Once we've established that foundation, we'll move into the 4th, 5th, and 6th conversations, going step by step deeper into the path of Taisha. The 4th conversation is the core. The theme is power. The 5th is the advanced stage. Its theme is creation. The 6th is the climax, focus on miracles. The 7th is integration. Its theme is one. You can see outlines and key points of each conversation in the general principles and main text of the Taisha Book. All the mysteries from conversations 1 through 6 will be unveiled in the 7th. That's where you will see your real world. But if you haven't truly grasped what came before, the last conversation will feel like a fairy tale to you. The final destination of the path of Taisha is the world of Taisha. This isn't some abstract, vague, or person-dependent world, nor is it a heaven of some kind. In fact, the world you see right now is already the world of Taisha. But because your brain has been poisoned by its viruses for so long, you can't see it, you've forgotten it. In that world, there's no worry, no fear. You will live, work, and love joyfully, while also becoming a teacher of the world of Taisha, returning to the world of Taisha, returning to Taisha itself. This is the deepest dream and longing in every person's heart. And this book will help you truly recognize Taisha, recognize yourself, and recognize this world. Right now, you don't truly know them. But once you do, you will realize that what you've been chasing through all of time is this truth and your own world. Take note. Earlier, when I said no difference in now, you may not have paid much attention, but those are the core teachings of the Taisha Book. Throughout the entire book, we'll explore from all angles how no difference and now applying to every situation and every problem. These are the first two foundational magic mantras I hope you'll learn from the Taisha book. Whenever you say no difference and now, you're already practicing the cleansing of your mind's viruses and restoring your original power. There are many more such foundational and advanced mantras, and we'll teach them all step by step. You've already read through the main text of the Taisha book, so I'm sure you have plenty of questions. Go ahead. Now's the time to ask them. Jim, I do have a lot of questions, but first, could you explain what exactly is Taisha? What do you mean by the guidance of Taisha, or the world of Taisha? Is that your personal guidance or something from your company? Isn't Taisha just your name? Or is it, as the Taisha book suggests, a presentation of some kind of ultimate knowledge? Taisha. My name is Taisha, lowercase. In this book, the Chinese term Taisha and the capitalized English Taisha both refer to the part of each person that exists beyond time, the whole, free, and infinite self. The central teaching of the Taisha book is to transcend the limits of time and find that whole version of yourself that exists beyond time, along with the wisdom and power that come naturally with it. Some other books might refer to the wisdom of this complete self as inner knowing or inner peace, and so on. All the books that teach find yourself ultimately have the same goal as this one, to guide you to find your complete self. Though each book may offer a different path back to that inner wisdom, it's a belief in time and separation that stands as the main obstacle to accessing your own complete wisdom and guidance. The Taisha book approaches this more directly by transcending time, dissolving separation, and clearly the mind's viruses. This book calls that complete, timeless version of you Taisha. That's why it's called the Taisha book. Taisha is an all objective presence, not imagined, not optional. You can deny it, you can forget it, but you can't erase what truly exists. Everyone has their own Taisha, whether they're aliens, magicians, angels, or immortals. They all have their own Taisha. Even highly evolved plants and animals eventually have their own Taisha. Other books may call this the Holy Spirit, the higher self, or the Supreme Soul. They all mean the same thing. So you could also call this book the Book of the Soul, the Book of the Spirit, the Book of the Higher Self. It makes no difference. Taisha. Please note, Taisha is not some vague or imaginary concept, just like the sun, the moon, the earth, or you and me. Taisha is real existence in this universe. Unlike absolutes such as love or truth, Taisha also has its own personality, but it is not a god in the religious sense. Within this rule-based universe, Taisha is the result of a mechanism rooted in time. In essence, it is a mirror beyond time, one that gathers your past, present, and future into a unified version of yourself that exists at the edge of time. The core purpose of this great magical process is guidance, to guide each version of yourself drifting through time back to the path of Taisha. Taisha exists beyond time. It holds all your experiences and all your wisdom. Taisha is with you at every moment, orchestrating every experience of every day in ways you cannot even imagine. It is the greatest magical treasure a person can possess while evolving within the framework of time. Yet, very few people truly know how to use it. The Taisha book is essentially a tutorial on how to unlock that treasure. Jim. But isn't it a strange coincidence? Your name is Taisha, and this ultimate source of wisdom is also called Taisha. Did you name it that on purpose? Can I call it something else like Jim? then wouldn't this book become the Ch1-1 book? F's. Taisha. Since Taisha is already infinite, it's not bound by any specific name. Of course, you can call it whatever you want, but in this book, we refer to it as Taisha, and until you can use the teachings of this book with ease and full understanding, I'd recommend you stick with Taisha for now, just so we can keep our conversation consistent. Taisha. One of the reasons we use Taisha as the name for this infinite version of yourself is because the viruses in your brain will constantly trying to deny or ridicule your true wisdom. Anytime you follow the inner guidance of Taisha, feeling peace and joy, stepping away from that fragmented and upside-down world, letting go of choice and chasing, your brain will immediately laugh and say, "You're too foolish." So, Taisha is actually the name of your brain's viruses give to your infinite self. And in a way, it's a vivid and fitting name. Taisha itself will never object to such a name or be dissatisfied with it. Taisha's life principle is no need to choose, understand everything, accept everything. If there's no need to choose and all is accepted, then of course any name will do. There's no need to select a name that's more majestic or solemn. Only your brain's viruses believe some names are better or worse. In Taisha's eyes, there's no difference. Since Taisha teaches you not to choose, why would it make distinctions about what name it should be called? To Taisha, all names or no name at all are equally fine. No difference. It's within the wholeness and oneness that Taisha can give you the true power of miracles.